epicondylitis, or golfer's elbow, climber's elbow, surfer's elbow. You can injure this area a lot of different ways. Operating heavy machinery, gardening, painting, whatever it might be. Whenever you're going to have a lot of contraction coming in this way, grabbing, pulling, locking down on things, it can irritate the area wherever all these muscles in the forearm connect to this bony protrusion right here. So these exercises are helping me get through it, and I thought I would share it with you just to give you a kind of one-stop shop to find the info you need. So starting off, I like to do my exercises in the morning. If I can't get around to it, I'll do it later in the day, but preferably in the morning just to kind of get it done, and then you can go through the day already having worked out the area rather than kind of compiling throughout the day and then get the exercises done at night. But what I'll do before I start actually doing the exercises themselves, I'll usually do some massage to loosen the arm up. I've got a couple different massage tools, like a vibrating back massager that I'll put on there. There's a thing called arm aid, which is like a foam roller thing you can put your forearm through. A number of different ways to kind of loosen things up before you start doing the exercises. The thing about these exercises is they're meant to be eccentric exercises, which means they're going to be extending the area rather than contracting and adding to the damaged tissue, pulling on that damaged tissue. So I'll get started. I like to use a foam block, like a yoga foam block, to pad my elbow. You don't have to. You could get, a small piece of anything to just pad it a little bit, but I like to use this foam block. And then I'll start off with a 20-pound kettlebell. Obviously, weights are going to be different depending on your body, your size, and what you do, how your muscles feel. I found that 20 is good for me because it needs to be a pretty decently heavy weight, so you're not having to do thousands of reps to really get the results that you're looking for. But the way this works is I'll grab this weight from underneath like this, like you're going to do a curl, but don't do that. And the key is not to have your thumb wrapped over the top like this. You need your thumb along with the rest of these other 4 fingers underneath. That's really going to protect your wrist during this exercise. Support with the other hand until you're in position. But basically, you're going to set this thing up so it's nice and vertical. And then making sure everything's in line, so you're not going to be pulling on your shoulder or anything like that. You slowly lower and extend your forearm, keeping your wrist curled until it gets nice and straight, and then unfurl the wrist like this. You should start feeling a stretch in this area. Maybe feel some sensation around that medial epicondyle, or that bony protrusion right there. And then this is key. You need to come in with the other hand and assist to get the weight back up to where you started. Rinse and repeat. I'll usually shoot for like 10 to 15 reps of this and put it down for a sec. 3 sets maximum. Listen to your body, whatever it's telling you. And what this is going to do is it's going to load up the muscle without putting too much pressure on that tendony area there. Okay, so this is a good one to get it started because it really stretches out the whole forearm too. Okay, secondly, to target a different muscle group, the pronator teres comes from this part of the forearm, cuts across here and links into that same bony protrusion right there, and it kind of controls that rotational aspect of the arm. You'd think that you rarely ever do that, but even just, like for instance, I injured mine rock climbing. Grabbed a hold, brought it right into here, and just doing that, it involves not only these muscles here, but these as well. So you never really know where the damage is exactly until you start doing these exercises and feel the sensation. So to target this area, I took a dumbbell and I put some tape on one side of the dumbbell to make it more comfortable for my hand, and then I took a 2.5 pound weight and I slid it all the way up to the top here. Now you can adjust this, you can bring this weight closer to the middle to lessen the amount of weight you're going to feel during this exercise, because what you'll do here is you'll put your forearm down on the pad, right? Rather than being up like we were in the last exercise, forearm down on the pad, and you can adjust the angle of your upper arm here depending on where you're getting the most sensation during this exercise. Same deal, you don't want to grab it like a regular dumbbell. You want to bring your thumb over to this side, or you can even just put your thumb right on that bar. But anyway, I like to straighten my arm pretty well, get this angle nice and obtuse. Start vertical, and then you let it fall to the outside, but resist it. Don't let it get any momentum. Resist it the whole way. You want to do this exercise really slowly. It's almost an isometric exercise. You could even just like hold it for a while if you needed to, but I like to let it tip over nice and slowly, and then I really start feeling some sensation in this area. It's not pain. It's like a comfortable pulling that's happening. It feels therapeutic. It's a relieving feeling. And sometimes when I come back from working all day or climbing or whatever it is, and I've got some pain in the elbow, usually about like 3 or 4 reps of this exercise brings me a lot of relief. The key to doing these is doing them consistently. I'm talking every day, maybe take a rest day here and there, but until you get over that hump, you really need to stay on top of this, okay? See how when I get down to the bottom there, I am coming in with the other hand and I'm assisting it back to the top. Lastly, this exercise I kind of figured out just for my body, but I took a 5 pound weight, tied some cordelette around it, and then wrapped it around this little post. You could take a chunk of broomstick or an old hockey stick or whatever works for you. I was lucky enough to find this little chunk of bamboo, but what I'll do is I'll hold my arms out nice and straight. I usually do this standing up so I get more length, but for the sake of the video, I'll just stay seated. And what you want to do is lower the weight with your wrist curls going up. See how my wrist going up? It's not concentric, it's going to be eccentric for this part of the arm, right? So keeping the arm really straight, push out at the end of each rotation, until you get that weight all the way down to the ground. I get an immediate pump from this. You feel fatigue pretty quickly. That's why you really want to get your weight dialed. I only use 5. I could probably use like a 2.5. But this is not something you're going to want to do with like a 15 pound weight. Key is when you get to the bottom, you can either set up the string so it rotates over, but in this case, see, I still have a lot of string left here. I'm going to spin the grip around. So when I bring that weight back up off the ground, I'm still pulling up with it. Up, right? We don't want to be reeling in the weight like this, because that's the opposite of what we're trying to do. We want this going up, right? Straight arms, push out, feel the stretch, pick that weight up. You're going to feel it in your shoulders. You're also going to feel it in the top of your forearms. So some of those antagonist muscles, right? Something to balance out where the initial strength was, where the initial imbalance was, and how that overuse occurred in the first place, right? Like golfing, you're always swinging this way, but you're not really working this side, right? So your arm becomes imbalanced, tendons get overused. Climbing, you're grabbing, you're pulling, but you're not doing a whole lot of pushing, right? Or upward motion with the wrist. So what we're doing here is we're really working that other side. So with these three exercises, some massage, nutritional supplements, and then what's really important at the end of each session, grab an ice pack, wrap the elbow up, and just deep freeze the area. It's gonna feel really good. It's gonna flush that blood out and allow new blood to come back in and just continue to aid in that healing process. That's all I have for you. Good luck, and I hope you guys can get back to it quickly.